Hey guys, let's talk about identity theft. My name is John Watts. I'm a consumer protection lawyer. And with identity theft, that's where somebody's taken our identity. And usually we're talking about something is now on our credit report. So there's a credit card, there's a car loan, there's even a mortgage. There may be a judgment on certain credit reports like a LexisNexis report. And we look at this and we say, wait, that wasn't me. I didn't take out that credit card. I never applied for that car loan. That's not my house, or that judgment's not against me. And so what do you do? Because there are people that struggle for years and years with identity theft. And they feel like they're on this kind of treadmill where they're really running hard. They're doing everything they can to fix it, and it just doesn't get fixed. Or if you've ever had the fortune or the misfortune of going to Chuck E. Cheese and playing the whack-a-mole game, where the little mole pops up and you hit it with the stick and that pops up somewhere. That's kind of what identity theft feels like for a lot of us. But let me tell you, identity theft, that in other words, where something is on your credit report, that is really not difficult to fix. Even though it may seem like it's incredibly difficult, it's really not difficult if it's truly identity theft. So let's take an example of a credit card. There's a credit card that has my name on it, and I say, I never took out that credit card. I never authorized somebody to take out that credit card. I didn't find out about somebody taking it and then ratify their conduct later. So in other words, somebody takes out a credit card in my name, I don't know about it, and then they tell me, and they're like, hey, let's go on a round the world cruise. And I'm like, sounds good with me, because that's not my credit card. No, I would be responsible at that point. So I'm talking about true identity theft where I didn't have any involvement in it. I'm not benefiting from it. I'm not participating in it. Well, then how do I get rid of that? Pretty simple. Go get a police report, get a fraud affidavit from the FTC, fill that out, and then I send it to the credit bureaus. Usually it makes sense to also send it to the furnishers. In other words, whoever is furnishing that false information to the credit bureaus, credit card company, debt collector, whoever it might be. And then I see the results. Now, there's a couple things they have to do. Typically, within about 4 business days, they're supposed to suppress that. Okay, so it's not on my report. And then they do their normal investigation within 30 days, and it should be deleted. And I can tell you, I started handling identity theft cases, I think in 2005, maybe 2004. And, 9 out of 10 of them, they get fixed. Because if you make it very clear, hey, this is identity theft, here's my police report, affidavit, and then you give whatever proof, and I'll come back to that proof in just a moment. But you send that to the credit bureaus, they almost always get rid of it. I mean, maybe it's more like 19 out of 20 times they get rid of it. There's only a few times where they refuse to fix it, and then we sue, and those are fantastic cases. And the credit bureaus know this. The furnishers know this. So when you say this is identity theft and it's legitimate, okay, police report, fraud affidavit, and then again some proof, these guys generally don't want to mess with that because it's such an explosive case. In other words, we bring that suit and we're in front of the most conservative, business-oriented jury ever. But if it's identity theft, those people are sitting on the jury going, wow, that could be me. I mean, I could have my identity stolen. And then this jerk of a company, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, or Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or some debt collector, they could just ignore my police report, ignore my affidavit, ignore the proof I give. And that makes even the most sort of conservative, business-oriented juror just become enraged. And then they're like, where's the death penalty? Okay? So it's a stereotypical thing, but there is some truth that, this just a side note, when you're dealing with a more conservative jury, it's harder to convince them that there's liability. In other words, that the bad guy did something wrong. But when they're convinced, then sometimes they will award more money than a liberal jury. Now that kind of flies in the face of conventional wisdom. Generally, people say, well, I want a liberal jury. I'm saying we've had tremendous success with very conservative juries. So that's why the credit bureaus normally fix this. But look, if they don't fix it, then you sue them. And whether you have a liberal jury, a conservative jury, a mixture, nobody likes credit bureaus. Nobody wants somebody that keeps false information on your credit report. So last thing I'll say before I bring this video to a close is, what about proof? So maybe you get a copy of the application and the handwriting's different. Well, submit a sample. Here's some checks I've written over the last 5 years. Here's my driver's license. Here's my tax return from the last 5 years. Let's say that they claim this is a car loan. And you're like, I never had that car. Well, can you get a statement from your insurance agent who you've had for the last 10 years? Here are all the cars you've insured. Well, see, that car that is on your credit report, you didn't insure that. Maybe you can go to the DMV or whatever you call it, the Department of Motor Vehicles or Vehicle Title, whatever it is, and ask them, hey, do you have any of these titles registered in my name? Do you have addresses? I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do for proof. If they say, well, you went to this car dealership in Wyoming on such and such date and bought this car, and you're like, here's my medical records. I was in the hospital that day in Birmingham, Alabama. Pretty good, right? So just think, what's the proof? What can I show that supports my statement in my affidavit in the police report that this is not my account? Is there anything I can show? And if there is, that's great. Just submit it. Sometimes people go, well, I was told you're not supposed to submit very much information, like no more than 3 or 4 pages. No, I mean, we have disputes where there's like 100 pages submitted. It doesn't matter how many pages. Submit all the pages in the world to these credit bureaus. And then they really have no excuse because you're like, I gave you everything. So just remember, identity theft, very frustrating, but it can be fixed. I mean, I have people come to me and they say, John, I've been dealing with this for 3 years. How long will it take you to fix it? I'm like, 30 days? Because it's either going to get fixed or we're going to sue some people and they will fix it and they're going to pay a whole bunch of money. So it either gets fixed really quick or it takes a little longer and you're going to have money in your pocket. So hope that that's helpful, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.